So I wanted to offer a little Zazen instruction, a little bit of traditional Zazen instruction, starting with the Buddha's own, the Satipatthana Sutra. So the Satipatthana is often translated as the four foundations of mindfulness, or the four establishments of awareness. I like that one, the four establishments of awareness. So we're establishing ourselves in shining the light of awareness into different areas of our experience. And it starts like many stories, variations of stories do, but instead of once upon a time, it's Ananda saying, "Thus have I heard." And I always feel like when I hear that, I always kind of settle in, just like you do when you hear "once upon a time." Like, there's going to be a story now. Thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was living in the Kuru country, where there was a town of the Kurus named Amasadama. There he addressed the bhikkhus thus. Bhikkhus are monks. "Bhikkhus," he said. "Venerable Sir," they replied. The Blessed One said this: "Bhikkhus, this is the direct path for the purification of beings, for the surmounting of sorrow and lamentation, for the disappearance of pain and grief, for the attainment of the true way, for the realization of nirvana, namely the four foundations of mindfulness." So this is the direct path. Just as Dogen said, this is the direct path. This is how you go from here to there, no gap. And yet we still have to walk the path. For the purification of beings. Purification means freedom from the illusion of separation. That's the true meaning of purification. Sojin's name was the essence of purity. And the essence of purity was not being a perfect being, but that non-separation of self and other. That complete unity for the purification of beings, to realize this for ourselves. For the surmounting of sorrow and lamentation, for the disappearance of pain and grief, for the attainment of the true way, for the realization of nirvana. So what are the four foundations? Here, bhikkhus, a bhikkhu abides, contemplating the body as a body, ardent. And ardent means like passionate or burning, like the fire of our passions, of you putting it to good use. So contemplating the body as a body, ardent, fully aware and mindful, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. Having put away covetousness and grief for the world. So this is a time when we get to put aside, lay down, let go of thoughts of the world, thoughts of what's outside. Not that they go away, but that we have a chance to set them to one side, to include them as our experience rather than our ideas. And the grief of the world. It may still go on in our bodies. The grief of our hearts may still be there. But just to let go, not grasp, not hold on to with our minds. And just let it flow, let it move, let it roll through. And then feelings as feelings, ardent, fully aware and mindful. And mind as mind, and mind objects as mind objects. And usually, on the first day, it's so good to just stay with the body as the body, and the breath as the breath. Just grounding over and over again, coming back, coming back. Having put aside covetousness and grief. And now bhikkhus. And how bhikkhus? Does a bhikkhu abide contemplating the body as a body? Here, bhikkhu. Here a bhikkhu gone to the forest, or to the root of a tree, or to an empty hut. Here we are. We are at the foot of the old plum tree. We're in this empty hall, all together in the empty hall. We sit down, having folded his legs crosswise, set his body erect, and establish mindfulness in front of him. Ever mindful, he breathes in, mindful, he breathes out. Breathing in long, he understands, I breathe in long. Breathing out, he understands, I breathe out. Breathe in long, breathe out long, breathe in short, breathe out short. He trains thus, I shall breathe in, experiencing the whole body. He trains thus, I shall breathe out, experiencing the whole body. And it goes through many, many different possible objects of awareness. But today, see if you can just stay with body and breath, body and breath. And in this way, a bhikkhu abides contemplating the body as a body internally, or abides contemplating the body as a body externally, outwardly, or abides contemplating the body as a body both internally and externally. Just the body as a body. The body as the experience of being a body. Those moments when we slip out of our minds and we're just a body as a body. Body of sensation, a body moving in space. A body that is somehow tender and precious because it is ours. Strong and vulnerable, however it appears. Just letting the body be the body as it shows up in this moment. Just the experience of it. Letting go of words, letting go of labels. And the Buddha discusses the 4 postures: standing, walking, sitting, and lying down. And she abides independent, not clinging to anything in the world. That, too, is how a monk abides, contemplating the body as a body, in standing, walking, sitting, or lying down. So when we're sitting zazen, shikantaza, we take that zazen mind with us when we stand up, when we hear the bell, when we do kinhin, when we walk out the door. We take that quiet mind everywhere we go with us. Quiet mind and a quiet body. And again, bhikkhus. The bhikkhu is one who acts in full awareness when going forward and returning, who acts in full awareness when looking ahead and looking away, who acts in full awareness when flexing and extending his limbs, who acts in full awareness when wearing his robes and carrying his outer robe and bowl, who acts in full awareness when eating, drinking, consuming food and tasting, who acts in full awareness when defecating and urinating, who acts in full awareness when walking, standing, sitting, falling asleep, waking up, talking, and keeping silent. In this way, she abides contemplating the body as a body, internally, externally, and both internally and externally. And she abides independent, not clinging to anything in the world. That too is how a bhikkhu abides contemplating the body as a body. So our bodies are never apart from us. We may forget them or ignore them for periods of time, but they never go away until our last breath. The breath never stops. So this body is such a present and reliable way of being in the world, of grounding in the world, of grounding in the entire universe. And we can practice with the body in so many different ways. But it's basically one way, and that one way is be here now. Be with the body, whatever it's doing. Be with the body and the breath, however it's manifesting. Just be present with it as it is. And whatever thoughts about it, or judgments, or wishes that or otherwise may arise, just breathe that in along with what is. It's all just what's happening right now, and it's all just fine. It is. There is nothing outside of practice, and there is nothing outside of awakening. The Buddha explicitly brings in all the parts of the body, all the innards, all the functions of the body, including defecating and urinating. Nothing is outside. Nothing in your mind is outside. Nothing in your body is outside. And nothing in the world is outside. And then the Buddha comes to the Four Noble Truths. How does a bhikkhu abide contemplating mind objects and as mind objects in terms of the Four Noble Truths? Here, a bhikkhu understands as it actually is, not our idea of how it is. This is suffering. She understands as it actually is. This is the origin of suffering. He understands as it actually is. This is the cessation of suffering. She understands as it actually is. This is the way leading to the cessation of suffering. Many years ago on retreat, I had a period of time when everything was open, bright, calm, perfect. And I was aware of that and appreciated it deeply. And I was doing Galijan. And I could feel the bare beginnings of that state of mind slipping away and becoming a little tight or something, and trying in a very subtle way to get it back. And I realized after a few minutes, oh, this is suffering. This is grasping. This is what it feels like to try to maneuver the experience of this moment into being something else. And there was a wave of pain at realizing how much of my life I spent doing exactly that. And then it all left. And it was just presence. So the Buddha concludes, bhikkhus, if anyone should develop these four establishments of awareness in such a way for 7 years, one of two fruits could be expected. Either final knowledge here and now, or if there is a trace of clinging left, non-return. Let alone 7 years, because if anyone should develop these four foundations of mindfulness in such a way for 6 years, and again, the Pali Canon repeats again and again, so you can imagine all of that repeated for 6 years, for 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. Never mind that. For 6 months, 5 months, 4 months, 3 months, 2 months, half a month, let alone half a month, because if anyone should develop these four establishments of awareness in such a way for 7 days, one of two fruits could be expected. Either final knowledge here and now, or if there is a trace of clinging left, non-return. That is not returning again to this life, but being free from the cycle of birth and death. So here we have our 7 days. So even for 7 days, this is possible. So it was with reference to this that it was said, bhikkhus, this is the direct path for the purification of beings, for the surmounting of sorrow and lamentation, for the disappearance of pain and grief, for the attainment of the true way, for the realization of nirvana, namely the four establishments of awareness. That is what the Blessed One said. The bhikkhus were satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's words. I was also reflecting on Dogen's Fukan Zazengi, his universal recommendations for sitting meditation. Because it's very similar, you know. He starts out with the way is basically perfect and all-pervading. Exactly what the Buddha taught. So how could it be contingent upon practice and realization? The Dharma vehicle is free and untrammeled. What need is there for concentrated effort? And yet, if there is the slightest discrepancy, the way is as distant as heaven from earth. If the least like or dislike arises, the mind is lost in confusion. So it's always this. Always this. When we're completely present, everything is basically perfect and all-pervading. And then we slip into like or dislike or slightest discrepancy, and the way is as distant as heaven from earth. So we practice. We train the mind again and again, over and over, until when we wander off the path, we find our way back more and more easily. He goes on to say, for Sanzen, a quiet room is suitable. Eat and drink moderately. Cast aside all involvements and cease all affairs. Do not think good or bad. Do not administer pros and cons. Cease all the movements of the conscious mind, the gauging of all thought and views. Have no designs on becoming a Buddha. Sanzen has nothing whatever to do with sitting or lying down. So here we are, with the perfect conditions for waking up. We have a beautiful, quiet room, very suitable. We have the opportunity to eat and drink moderately, and not only that, but we are served with such kindness by our friends in the Dharma. Serve and are served. And then it's up to us to cast aside all our involvements and cease our affairs for this period of time. To practice not thinking good or bad, or get into pros and cons. Have no designs on becoming a Buddha. Like just put one foot in front of the other. Just do the practice. Don't try to get something. The Guru, she said, no eating. Just this moment, just as it is enough and more than enough. The Fukan Zazengi ends with this paragraph. Please, honored followers of Zen, long accustomed to groping for the elephant, do not be suspicious of the true dragon. Devote your energies to a way that directly indicates the absolute. Revere the person of complete attainment who is beyond all human agency. Gain accord with the enlightenment of the Buddhas. Succeed to the legitimate lineage of the ancestors' samadhi. Constantly perform in such a manner, and you are assured of being a person such as they. You are assured of being a person such as they. All of us have Buddha nature. All of us can realize this for ourselves. It can happen at any moment. It can happen this week while we're together. Your treasure store will open of itself, and you will use it at will. I want to be very clear that when I say it's possible now, or even this week, or in this 7 days, I emphatically do not mean try to get that. What I mean is drop anything that's not that. Just practice letting go over and over again. Just let go, be here, be now. There's nothing to get and nowhere to go. It's all here. And that takes attention. So whether you are able to be here in person for the entire week, or there will be some coming and going for you, and for those who are sitting online, however this manifests physically for you this week, we'll all be coming and going to our houses, to our homes. And I just want to encourage you to extend the temple gates, to extend the mind of Zazen as much as you can in whatever travels you have back and forth, and whatever you do in the evening, and whatever you need to do on other days. To see if somewhere inside you, you can hold the container of Rohatsu. You know, Rohatsu is an international holiday. It's celebrated around the world by so many different Zen temples. And this means that people are sitting Rohatsu 24/7 somewhere in the world. Somewhere in the world, people are sitting up and sitting Rohatsu. So you are never alone in sitting. So please enjoy this practice. Please allow it to bring you joy and settledness. To receive gratitude, to offer gratitude for this practice, for being together in deep appreciation. We have time for just a few questions. There are any. Maybe that's just perfect. That just Have a few extra minutes of outdoor canyon.